I just got a new book that Ryan bought. I thought it'd be kind of interesting because the inside the bubble book has so much information in it that was relevant, especially for the villages, that he's got another book called Florida for the Boomers. Right here. Can you see it? Florida for the Boomers. Don't know anything about it. By the way, I bought this book with my own money. He didn't send it to me free or anything. And I'm going to go through it and I'm going to share different things with you as I go through this book. I don't know what's in it. I haven't even looked at it yet. So, we'll set that down for now. Got a couple of questions to ask, or that's been asked of me. I'll see what I can do about answering them, hopefully. Let me see, let me back this up just a minute. By the way, the video that's probably tagged right before this, maybe, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I got to edit. Just asked about the house watering filtration system. I couldn't remember her name. I still have her email. Her name was Vicki Smith. How could I forget that? My last name's Smith. How could I forget that? But I did. Vicki Smith, I hope that answers your questions or at least helps out. But give him a call. He'll answer your questions. He'll talk to you. He's a good guy. So I got to go down here to where the questions were at. I was just there. Here's one. Actually, Sylvain Lessard. He's been a subscriber of mine for a while now. What was it he was asking me? 3 questions. When you were researching retirement communities, actually I never did research retirement communities. We just kind of moseyed around and just kind of looked at the different ones. Most of them didn't appeal to me. A couple of 3 of them did. But anyway, what were your other favorites besides the villages? Did you go further south? Yes, we did. We have friends that are snowbirds in the villages and say it is too big. For some people it probably is. For other people it's not. For me it's not because of the way it's designed, and I'll get into that later. I just saw your latest video and can see the plus and minuses. Good, that's what I want you to see. I want you to see both sides of a coin here. I've already explained to people how you can narrow down your search in the villages for the house. Instead of willy-nilly coming down here with a salesperson for pre-owned or new, it makes no difference. You can drive all day long and look at 100 houses, and then you're going to go out to dinner that night and you're just going to be more confused than ever. Like, I don't know. You know, what do you think of this area, that area? Well, I've explained how to narrow that down, so I'm not going to get into that. But here's a short version of how and why we stay here. When we would come down with the granddaughters and take them to Disney World and all these different places, we never went every day. We'd go to the park one day, and then maybe the next day we just kind of hang around the hotel room most of the time and go to the swimming pool or go out to dinner, and it was a relaxed day. Well, in that relaxing day, we might just take the car and go for a cruise around the Orlando area. And I was probably in my late 40s at the time, and I knew retirement was coming. My dad was retired, and I would see this. They have a sign saying active adult community or whatever. I didn't know what that was, and so we would just cruise in there in our car. We just cruise around and we just kind of look at things and see what they look like and blah blah blah. Every now and then as I got older, I always remembered 1 or 2 of them, and we would go back because now we were more getting to be a serious buyer, and we would go back and we would look at these places in depth, go into different houses. We'd get paperwork on the houses about the price and all this and that. Ask questions. With me, I knew what I wanted to do when I came down here. I wanted to get back into golf. I've always enjoyed it. I'm not very good at it, but I've always enjoyed it. The camaraderie of it, everything about it. So I already knew that. My wife, on the other hand, She didn't really know what she wanted to do, but she knew she wanted to do a lot. She wanted to try everything, actually, and then she'd pick and choose what it was she wanted to continue with. And actually, that's the way it's worked out. So I've always told people, when you come to the villages, or you go to any other retirement community for that matter, know what it is you want to do. And then you'll know where you want to be. I mean, how close do you want to be to, like, to this or that? Or that's in the villages, of course, but other retirement communities are basically the same way. They're just on a smaller scale. So, getting to the population size. When I first came here, Spanish Springs was the only square. And then they started building Lake Sumter. And I can remember people talking then that they were doubling the size of the villages. And we won't be able to get a seat at the restaurant this winter. It's going to be awful. And people were talking about, why would you want to buy down there? It's in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of a pasture field. There's nothing down there. Look at Lake Sumter today. Then they started building Brownwood. And we sold our house up here around Lake Sumter, and we bought down here. And friends of mine that lived around Lake Sumter, jokingly, but here's what they said. We told them, we're going to buy a house down at Brownwood. Why? Why do you want to buy on the dark side? That's what this place was called, the dark side. I said, the dark side? Yeah, there's nothing down there. They don't have anything. The square's not open. They got no grocery shopping down there. You're going to be coming up here all the time anyway. I said, yeah, but it'll get going. Well, look at Brownwood today. It's not 100% filled. It's not 100% going, but it's came a long way. Now, they go to Finney. Now, they're not connected yet, but they go to Finney. Same thing. Why you want to go clear down here? That's out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing down there. Well, that's true and it ain't true. Give it some time. You just don't build grocery stores and gas stations and all that kind of stuff overnight. It takes a little bit of time. I'll tell you, things get built around here faster than anywhere I've ever been in my life. I mean, it won't be long. And as they open things up down there, right now things are a little crowded here. I will be the first to admit that. We have our Wednesday golf group, and every Wednesday we go to Evans Prairie. Every Wednesday, we always went there. We got our favorite waiters, staff, the girls that take care of us. They know us all, and I wouldn't have it no other way. But because Finney's not connected, the whole Finney area is not connected. Those people down there, when they want to play championship golf, wherever it may be, they've got to drive their cars up here. So now our parking lots up here are full of cars because there's snowbirds all over the villages. Down there, up Spanish Springs, are all over. They're starting to come back. So now when we get done golfing on Wednesday, we go down to Evans Prairie, and the parking lot's like almost full of cars. And this is the first time that I can remember in 4 years that I've ever had to drive around the parking lot in my golf cart looking for a place to park. But it's starting to happen. But it's just a matter of time. I'm not complaining. They got a championship golf course on the boards. It's going to be down there. I'm assuming they're working on it. It's not there yet, but it will be. When they get things going, they get the shopping center up, get more restaurants down there, and they need them desperately. Grocery stores, and to get, they've got what now, 4 executive courses. They just opened up a new one next to Loblolly. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, there's 4 executive courses open now down there. And I know they're working on a championship course, and I don't know when it's going to be open. I've heard January or February or spring or something like that of 2020. So as those things open up, the population spreads out to all these different things. They said the same thing about Las Vegas during its heyday. Too crowded, too many people, too many casinos. These other casinos are going to go bankrupt because they got too many casinos. They're getting along just fine. I don't know how the engineers and all these people figure all this stuff out, but they do. So I'm still a believer that even though the Villages is growing in size number-wise, as far as numbers of houses here, when they get things going down there, it'll all even out. It'll be okay. You know, sometimes people down there will come up here and play golf. Sometimes people up here will be going down there and play golf. I'm telling you, I'm one of them. As soon as they get that golf cart trail connected, my Wednesday group, well, we plan on it. We plan on going down there and playing some of these courses. Matter of fact, some of the guys here has already drove their car down there and played them new executive courses. I played the first two. I think it's Red Fox and Red Squirrel or Gray Fox or whatever it's called down there. I played those two a couple of times, but I haven't played any more. But when they get that country club open down there, I'm sure that we'll make our way down there when that golf cart trail gets opened up, and maybe even before. So I'm not worried about the population size yet. That remains to be seen. I'm more concerned about some of the announcements of some of the things they're going to build, and I'm just wondering how that's going to merge in with the Villages here somehow. I don't know. We'll see. Second question was what? How often do you something about the retirement places. I'll give you, I can think of two other retirement places that I checked out because I was seriously interested in it. Solovita, S-O-L-I-V-A-T-A, which is down in, I think, Point Siena, Florida, which is kind of like a suburb of Orlando. I was interested in that. They have a website. And what deterred me from that was they had at that time, one 18-hole golf course. But as a resident, I wasn't a member. You had to buy a membership to that course. And it was, at that time, it seems to me it was pretty expensive, I thought. I got to buy a house for $250,000 or up. And then they wanted another like $2,500 a year just for me to play. And it seems to me that $2,500 a year did not entitle me to free golf all year long. It was $2,500 for the membership, and then I had to pay for my golf at a discounted rate. And that might be normal for a lot of places, but when I compared that to the Villages, it was a no-brainer for me. And I just wasn't going to do that. Another place that we checked out, and I'm not even sure I remember the name of it, but it was over around Tampa area. And boy, I can't remember the name of that place. But it was basically a manufactured housing place. It was very nice, don't get me wrong. I mean, these homes were on foundations. They weren't up on bricks or nothing like that. It was a very nice place. Had an 18-hole golf course in the middle of this community. All the houses were around this golf course. Had one clubhouse, one indoor pool, one outdoor pool. They had all the amenities that the average retirement community would have. And the fact that you was right there not too far from the beach, which interested me and my wife both. The problem we had, because it was a manufactured community, was the hurricane insurance and the price of it. It was astronomical. And I'm not a rich guy, so that was it for me. And then the other places I went to that I come real close to, actually, it was almost a flip between there and here, but as this place grew, and I really got serious about buying, this one out was on Top of the World. It's up by Ocala, OTW, on Top of the World. They got a website. They had at that time one, I think it was an 18-hole course. It might have been 27 holes. I don't remember. But that's all they had. They had a small little, like a town square, kind of like there. And the lady took us around. We got a free ice cream cone, and they showed us all the different houses. Nothing wrong with the place at all. It's a great place. But the one golf course thing kind of concerned me. And I just wasn't really interested in that. And the way they did the tee times, and it was a whole epic thing at the time. Over the years, I'm sure a lot of this has changed. But at the time, it just wasn't for me. And then we did go across Spanish Springs on 441 up there to Del Webb community up there. I think it's called Spruce Creek, I think. Anyway, same thing. They got, at that time, they had, I think, one and I don't remember the holes, 18 or 27 hole golf course, which we've played it since I moved here. We go up there every now and then, not very often, maybe once a year on an average. It was a nice golf course, mature trees. The country club there treated us very well. The food was good, fair priced. I got nothing to say bad about it. But I was interested in playing many different courses, different types of courses, different challenges of courses. And the Villages answered all that for me. So that's really why I'm here. I come down here to play golf. And right now where I live, I'm between 13 executive courses and 4 country clubs, all within probably anywhere from, say, a 10-minute golf cart ride and less away from my house. So I'm where I want to be. So that's why I'm here. If you're not a golfer, you may have whole other reasons where you want to go. If you're the kind of person that loves to go to the beach every day, you don't want to be here. If you're the kind of person that loves to go to Disney World 2 or 3 times a week, and there's people here to do that. They buy them passes, what do they call them, or a yearly pass kind of thing. Anyway, and they go all the time. And that's great, that's fine, I got no problem with it. But I'm just saying, if that's what you like to do, I'm not sure you want to be here, because we're 45 minutes to an hour drive to Disney World. I would think you'd want to be a little closer. So, I mean, you got to think about some of these things. You mentioned that the Villages is a community with gates, not a real gated community. I'm not the only one that mentions that. They all tell you that. People sometimes hear what they want to hear, and I'm going to stand by that, because I've talked to one heck of a lot of salesmen. Now, I'm not talking 20 years ago. Don't jump on me if somebody told you something 20 years ago. I don't really care. I'm talking about today. It's called a community with gates. I've been to the different seminars they have here just for to educate myself. When I worked for the Villages, I was required to go to different classes. One of them was the director of recreation, Mr. Rohan. The Rohan Recreation Center is named after him. He was there for an hour of a class, and he said the same thing at least 2 times that I know of, that this is a community with gates. So yeah, it's not a gated community. All roads in and out of the Villages is public roads. They are not privately owned. The gates are only for traffic control, and basically they're there to supposedly to help protect the golf carts behind the guard gate that's trying to cross the road. Even though a lot of these guard gate guys aren't paying attention, but that's what they're there for. And they're there for other reasons too, don't get me wrong, there's a lot more reasons, but I don't want to go into all that. Does the Villages have its own security or use local police? They use basically around here, all through the Villages, depending on what county you're in. Remember, the Villages is 3 counties big. In Lakeland, they could use the Lakeland Police. They could also use, I'm sure, Lakeland Sheriff's Department if they want. But I have seen around Spanish Springs, the Lakeland City Police cars around there. Down here, we use Sumter County Sheriff's Department a lot. I see them all the time. But also, you get down to Brownwood, where the square is. I believe that's a Wildwood City area, because there's a Wildwood City Police Station in Brownwood. It's next to the movie theater down there. And I have seen a Wildwood city officer walk around the square a time or 2. They never bothered anybody. They're just there, you know, probably for just to make sure everything's okay. You know, some people drink 1 too many beers, and you know. So, but no, I haven't, other than that, the Villages doesn't have their own security force. They have a community watch department where they drive around in the cars and pick up trucks, and they're looking for anything that's out of place, basically. But they're not allowed to approach anybody. If they see anything that's out of place, they generally radio it in, and then the dispatch will call the sheriff's department and send them out there. They also use community watch sometimes if there's an accident in traffic control. They'll use them if they have to, if there's a sinkhole somewhere, to kind of protect that sinkhole until the proper people get out there to barricade it. They use them, the community watch, sometimes if somebody's gone and they leave mom at home by herself for a day. Sometimes they'll come by the house and they may go up and knock on the door just to make sure everything's okay with her, if that's reported. They do a lot of things. I think that's about it. Hopefully that helps. Mr. Lessard, I answered the best that I could. So if there's anything else you need to know, just drop me a line and I'll see what I can do to help answer the questions for you. But until then, enjoy. I hope you enjoyed the water filtration system video. Give the guy a call. He'll answer your questions. He's a good guy. I've met the guy. He'll do you the right job and see if that filtration system's for you. And hope you enjoyed it. See you all on the other side. Oh, let me explain that. Somebody dropped me a line saying they thought see you on the other side means I'm saying bye to a bunch of people that's dying or something. No. I don't know if you watch my videos or not. I'm a retired trucker, basically an over-the-road trucker. So I'll give you a little hint. Go Google see you on the other side for truckers and see what the trucker lingo tells you what that means. Then you'll know. So now, I'll see you on the other side.